chant and be happy. Sometimes devotees ask, did Prabhupada really said that? Some are doubting, but you can find a quote. Prabhupada really did say chant and be happy. So, and we are saying write and be happy. This is just to give you a little, himself a writer. He thought that he wants to present. And being humble as he is, he thought no one, maybe 6 or 7 devotees will come to attend my presentation. He was not expecting many devotees to come. So he had 3 days, and on each day he was supposed to present the same presentation. And on each day, different devotees would come. So he was expecting very low attendance. But surprisingly, there were 40 to 50 devotees every day in the classroom for 3 days hearing on this topic, write and be happy. So his understanding was that there is actually an interest in this topic of writing. Devotees have a need, inner need, to express themselves through the written words. And in this presentation, he shared an anecdote that happened to him when he joined Hare Krishna movement in the 70s. He came just from the college, and having such a nature of studying and writing and reading regularly, he was proposing to his leaders, to devotees, to his authorities in ISKCON, in the temple, if he could write something sometimes for Krishna, as other devotees are doing. So they told him, just forget about it. But he says, I didn't forget about it. And now writing is one of the main services that I'm offering to Srila Prabhupada. How we came to give this seminar to all of you is that I heard a class where His Holiness Krishna Kshetra Swami presented to us, his disciples, what he did in ILS that year. And he was talking about his presentation, and he gave it briefly, very briefly. So after hearing this, I felt an inner call to assist him in his initiative. And his initiative is to initiate a culture of writing within Vaishnava communities. We all focus on hearing, chanting, worshipping the deities, cleaning the temple room, and so many other different services which are very important. But we don't think about writing to be similarly important and valuable service for ISKCON movement, for the devotees, and for humanity at large. If we just think of Srila Prabhupada, what he was doing, what was his main service? Excuse me?
Writing books.
Writing books. Yeah. Why? What was the purpose? Preaching, teaching, sharing the knowledge, spreading the glories of the Lord. So imagine if that would stop now. So no more printed books from any devotee in ISKCON. We respect, we honor, we are extremely grateful for Srila Prabhupada, to Srila Prabhupada, that he wrote all these books. But he also gave instructions that my disciples should also write. If we just have a look at other spiritual paths like Christianity, they are publishing more than 5,000 books a year. We are not publishing so many. We are also publishing, but not so many. So there is a field of improvement that yes, devotees within ISKCON, they do write, they do publish, but it could be more. It could be more. But in this presentation, we will see that it is not only about publishing. It's something else. And I see this whole presentation as a group teamwork with all of you. I just don't want to be only speaking here. So it's an interactive presentation, and please feel free to raise your hand and just say, ask, give a comment, whatever. I will also be asking some questions here, and we will try to figure out the answers. When I was preparing this presentation, I found an interesting information that every good made presentation should lead the audience to only one conclusion. I will not say what is the conclusion, but we will see at the end if we came to that conclusion or not, or I still have something to do to improve the presentation. First question. Oh yeah, one more thing, because there are many devotees, so we don't have much time to speak a lot, give long comments, so let us try to keep it brief. Why write just few sentences, few words, and then maybe some other devotees has also something to say, so that everybody gets a chance to participate. So just a guideline. So why write? What do you think?
Remember everything.
Okay, to remember it, that's very good.
Many devotees say that they are writing for their own purification.
For their own purification. Any other idea?
Writing is a very powerful way of expression.
To express ourselves.
Remember, Prabhupada said, if you want, you should remember what you've learned by discussing one another. And if you don't have one to discuss, then you should write.
We should write down, yes. When we hear, only a small percentage stays within the memory. When we hear and write, a bigger percentage stays within our memory. When we hear, write, and revisit, a much more percentage stays of what we have heard. When we hear, write, revisit, and share with someone else, much, much, much more stays with us. Yes, Prabhu?
Writing amplifies our understanding.
Yes, definitely. Let's see what are the answers. For self-purification, what Prabhu said. If you sit down and write some article on Krishna, that means you have to concentrate on Krishna's activities or Krishna's devotees' activities. And that very process will purify your heart. Therefore, we always recommend to our students that you write articles, read our magazine, and read our book, Srila Prabhupada, in a lecture 1971. For your personal benefit. So when we write, we are benefiting personally. Our Krishna consciousness is benefiting. Srila Prabhupada says, by writing according to our realization, we become more and more convinced, and all doubts are destroyed. So this is something what we all want, and writing can serve this purpose. For preaching purpose, we can write for preaching, but also for teaching purpose. Preaching is sometimes a strong word, so preaching or teaching purposes. So we can write for that. Srila Prabhupada says preaching also means reading and writing, or else what will you preach? So that means we have to read, we have to listen. And Prabhupada is suggesting writing also. And then our preaching will be successful. Krishna Kshetra Swami says you can connect people with Krishna through your writing. So if you write something and it goes out online and someone who is not a devotee comes across this, they can connect with Krishna, they can hear the Krishna's name and they might become devotees. Bhaktivigyan Goswami says preaching means sharing your experience. So we are human beings and we are making our experiences on a daily basis. And we have made so far experiences in Krishna consciousness and we have some realizations. When we share these things with others, this might also invoke some thoughts in people, might also connect them with Bhakti Yoga process and enable them to come in the association of the devotees. So the next question is, who can write?
One understood the topic. Any topic.
One who has understood the topic. Yes. Everyone. Okay. We are actually very fortunate. My grandmother, she didn't know how to write. So she just didn't learn how to write. You all have pencils in your hands, I see, so everybody knows how to write. That's an amazing advantage. So that's the first thing to start with. We know how to write. Who else can write?
Everybody likes to share relations.
Who likes to share? Only gurus and sannyasis and brahmacharis can write? No? Ladies can write? Yes. Old people, if they know how to write, then yes. Children? Yes? Okay. So everyone and anyone can write. Young, old, new devotee in the movement, senior devotee, lady, gentleman, children, grandparents, mothers, brahmacharis, grihastas, doesn't matter. Everybody, yes, Mataji.
I think in one sense we can say all the devotees because whatever we do in Krishna consciousness is good to do it under instruction. And Prabhupada has given instructions that the devotees should write down their realizations. So it is a service that we have already been given.
Yes, and ask to do. Okay, so Srila Prabhupada says 1969, July 1st, all students should be encouraged to write some articles after reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and teachings of Lord Chaitanya. They should realize the information and they must present their assimilation in their own words. Otherwise, how can they become preachers? So here is one important thing, that write some articles after reading Srimad Bhagavatam and other books. So we will speak about how reading and writing are connected. If we don't read, then it will be very difficult to write because we don't have the knowledge. For whom to write? That's a question. Who will read what I write?
For ourselves, like all this.
Ah, very good. Yes. For yourself. Why? Because it's very therapeutic. Did someone experience this? By the way, now I remember, I forgot to ask a first question. Does any one of you already write on a daily basis or weekly, few times, something? Does anyone write? Yes? 1, 2, 3, Prashanta Mataji, 4.
Not on a weekly basis, but yes, I have it.
Yearly.
4 of 20 or 15. That's good. Did you notice how good it is, how healthy it is? Like, what do you feel after writing? How do you feel?
There are different forms of writing. I remember many years ago, I was going through a transit in my life, and I decided to write everything down, and it was like the thoughts sort out themselves, you sort out your mind by writing. I remember I just wrote a whole list of questions for myself. I wrote the question, like what do I want, what do I need, what's my purpose, what this, that, what do I like, what do I regret, why do I had a whole list of questions. And I worked on it for days, every day answering more questions. And it gave me a direction. It gave me a direction to proceed to the next phase of my life. It was very wonderful. It was, as you say, therapeutic.
Very nice.
And this was especially meant for myself, but otherwise also when we write, it's like it comes from deep within. Something is coming out. Just the fact of the expression, that there is an expression, it's a very what do you say? It's very pleasing, and you feel engaged. Like when you do something, you do some polishing, and the energy is flowing. There's an energy which is flowing there. Very interesting, actually. And I would say it's also empowering.
Empowering.
Once I spoke with Giriraj Maharaj, he asked me, because he's also a writer, do you write? And I told him that I was writing something. And I told him that I feel that I'm not advanced enough in Krishna consciousness to write. So I interrupted the work. I started, and then I thought I'm not enough advanced to write. And then Maharaj said something very interesting. Is that, did you consider that you would advance by writing? That was a change of paradigm. Did you consider that writing itself will make you progress in Krishna consciousness? So it's something very powerful, actually.
Yes.
And because we are in this line of hearing and chanting, if one tries to actually write things which are Krishna conscious, which others will read, there is a sort of empowerment which is coming from the Guru Parampara. Because, it will be engaged in the service of connecting people to Krishna. So there is an empowerment which comes from writing.
If you are pure enough and sincere enough and transparent enough. Yeah. Someone else? So Krishna Kshetra Swami says, first of all, write for yourself because it's therapeutic. It's clarifying and purifying. Then gradually think of your audience. Write as you are writing for your little sister. Simple, with clear ideas and understanding, no big fancy words. So this is something that we often think we have to write a big thing now and make it very scientific, elaborate, but simple writing is also effective. Very effective. So now, when we know that everyone can write, that it is actually good, and we are encouraged, the question is what to write? What can we write? Any ideas?
Realizations.
Realizations? Very good. What would you say? What to write? Yes.
Like if I think in a Krishna conscious perspective, then it's like something that's going to benefit and help others also.
Okay, very good. We should write something that is important for the audience. So that means we should know also who is our audience, know something about them. Okay. Yes, Prabhu.
When we read something, we are reading some books, Bhagavad Gita, some Bhagavatam. So we will develop approach, like approaching the gist of the thing, like the summary of the book, what Prabhupada is going to. So we should write about the approach, what we should make to understand that thing, what Prabhupada is making, he wants to make us understand that.
You mean we can write how to understand the scriptures, or what we have understood from the scriptures? Both. Okay. Dheeraj, what do you think?
Realizations according to Shastra.
Okay, good. It's all good.
You can write a diary.
A diary, wow. That's something that some of you might have tried when you were a teenager. Isn't it? Yeah? A diary, a journal.
We also write when we want, like the devotees of the disciples of Prabhupada have written about Prabhupada. When we want to, share, experiences, or we want someone to know, the journey like Srila Prabhupada. We have biographies of them.
Biographies, we can write biographies, yeah.
Where simple writing would be just from memory to narrate what we have here. Like Srimad Bhagavatam is just like a parrot, But no, you not copy, but you read it, then you try to remember, and then you write it down again.
Write in your own words. Write in your own words.
Yeah, well, maybe you can try to don't use your own words. Say it as much as close to the original text as possible. So that's coming from acharyas that don't.
Yes, very good point.
You can write poetry.
Poetry.
Praise of Krishna, poetry.
We can make stories.
Stories.
Like attract, which is attractive. This story makes people attractive.
Stories about whom?
Or Krishna.
About Krishna, for example.
Acharyas. This storytelling is
It is, yeah. It grabs the attention immediately.
Especially for the children,
For the children,
to make them understand our philosophy.
yes.
Informative writing.
Excuse me?
Informative writing.
Inflative writing.
I mean, writing about
Informative.
like different types of yoga or travel information to holy land.
Mm. Yes. So there is a lot of opportunity what one can write. We will go through a list. So what to write? Someone already mentioned your realizations. Srila Prabhupada says realization means you should write. Everyone, what is your realization? What is this back to Godhead? What for this back to Godhead is? You write your realization, what you have realized about Krishna. That is required. It is not passive. Always you should be active. Whenever you find time, you write. Never mind 2 lines, 4 lines, but you write your realization. Shravanam, Kirtanam, writing or offering prayers, glories. This is one of the function of the Vaishnava. You are hearing, but you have to write also. Then, write means smaranam, remembering what you have heard from your spiritual master, from the scripture. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. About Vishnu, not for others. Don't write any nonsense thing for any nonsense man. Useless waste of time. Vishnu, write about Vishnu, Krishna. This is cultivation of Krishna consciousness. Hear, write, remember, try to understand. Don't be dull-headed. Very intelligent. Without being very intelligent is for the most intelligent man. So that intelligent will come if you try to understand Krishna. Prabhupada knows what he is speaking. And this quote could be analyzed. Every one of us could analyze it a bit and try to find out what are the deeper meanings, what can happen when we hear, remember, and then try to express it in a written word. Krishna Kshetra Swami says, take one verse of the Bhagavad Gita and rewrite the same verse in your own words. Write in a way that you feel it helps you connect with what Krishna is telling you. Turn a verse in a small poem or make it a line in a drama. So some verses from the Bhagavad Gita are not so immediately understandable. So we might want to go into word for word and see what is there, if we can understand it better. We want to read the purport. But here is a suggestion, we can rewrite the verse in our own words. It's okay, it is fine. We will not claim that Krishna said it in that way, but we rewrite it in our own words so that we can understand it easier. Did someone of you tried to write a prayer after you have read something or found something very amazing, like a verse or a passage in a purport or just a sentence, and then try to turn that in a prayer? Someone tried? Dheeraj, you did. 2, 3. This is a very powerful process or method. It's really powerful. So you might want to try. So writing forms and genres. There is a Shastra commentary in a variety of styles with varied purposes. So now we are giving a list of ideas what we can write. First is Shastra commentary, then there is life writing. Mataji mentioned diary, then journaling, social media. Actually, every one of us is writing every day a lot. Isn't that true? We all have mobile phones and WhatsApp and so many things on the phone, and we are every day typing something. So, how we are typing, I was thinking. Are we typing consciously or unconsciously sometimes? Like just, typing and not thinking what we are typing. But actually, if we want to improve our English, for example, if we want to improve our writing, the text messages can also use the purpose. And nowadays, on WhatsApp, there is this Grammarly installed inside. So it helps you to understand what in your sentence that you wrote is grammatically incorrect. So you can even learn English or any other language in which you are writing on WhatsApp. So if we can also use such small things during the day to consciously decide to improve our writing and vocabulary. Memoirs, autobiographies, so many other things. Literary forms like novel, poetry, drama, short stories, novella. Literary genre, like adventure, we can write adventure stories and what he did there, whom he met, and how the story ended. Comedy, detective genre, drama, epic, horror, lyric, mystery, satire, speculative science, fiction, tragedy, tragicomedy, so many different things we could write about. That most of us didn't thought of it. We are just focused on the Shastra, but there's so many different things. Someone knows how Bhaktivinoda Thakur was writing? What kind of books? Were there some stories or short novels or only songs? Excuse me? Philosophy. There were some novels, yeah, short, long. So yes, we are learning also from him. We can follow in his footsteps as well. And write essays. How many essays you wrote so far? Who wrote one essay so far? Okay, 2 essays? Only one. 2 essays? 3 essays? No? Last year? 3? Okay. So essays, because you are Bhakti Shastri and Bhakti Sadachar students and you are supposed to write some essays. So we will talk about the essays in next presentation. I'm also a Bhakti Shastri in VIG. I do the correspondence course. This is a self-study course. And there we have, for every chapter, an opportunity to write 4 to 5 essays. But there is a note, you can choose to write 2 or 1, depending on how big the chapter is. So knowing that my Srila Gurudev appreciates very much when his disciples write, I chose to write every essay. Just for his pleasure and my purification, and so that I get the skill, that I learn how to write better. So it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. And sometimes we just don't know what to write. Sometimes the topic is environmental crisis. I'm supposed to write how Krishna consciousness will save the world. So it's sometimes very challenging. Sometimes it's very easy. The topic that what I really like, oh, then in 1 hour, 4 pages are done very nicely. But sometimes we struggle. So we will talk more about essays, how to write them, and we will see. We will try to give you some tools, some tips, encouragement. And this first presentation should also serve as a removal of a lack of self-confidence and maybe fear of writing. So by the end we should be convinced that, yeah, why not? I can also write something. There are numerous forms and styles of essays, and we can visit Wikipedia and Google, search the essay or article and find out things about the essays. Maybe some of you will write the essay today, getting inspired to write the pending essay. So I just want to mention that you can use Google to research about the topic what you are writing. There is a database that has a search engine. You can research the topic about what you want to write. You can use Vani quotes. Someone knows about Vani quotes? Yes? So for example, if you have an essay on surrender, so you go to Google, you write surrender, then space, and then you write Vani quotes, and then you press enter. And there will be a page, there will be a result of your search with few pages on vaniquotes.com or org, I'm not sure. And if you click there, you will get the informations, the quotes, all that Srila Prabhupada wrote and said in his books, letters, lectures, discussions, everything that Prabhupada said on surrender. It will be a lot, but there is a help. There are categories. Surrender to Krishna, surrender to Guru, how to surrender, etc. So you can go there and click and read about your topic. Copy paste some quotes that are very good for you. Only 20%. And then, once you read enough about that topic, then you take a piece of paper and then you start writing. You write in your own words. You try to write something without fear, because whatever you write, it's you, it's coming from you, it's you yourself. It's okay, accept yourself as you are. I'm not Srila Prabhupada or Bhaktivinoda Thakur, but still I'm trying to write something for their pleasure. So without fear how it will sound, will I get an A or D or good mark or bad mark, doesn't matter. Because each and every essay we write, we get better in writing. Tomorrow we will talk about first thought and practice of writing. So one tip for those who wish to write an essay today or tomorrow: just take a piece of paper or two, put it aside, one on the table, take a pen and start writing with your hand. not on the laptop or mobile phone. Start writing with your hand and just let go whatever is there without thinking how it will sound, without editing the grammar, without any of these things. Just open your heart and mind, and through the hand you put it out on the paper. Later we will put another hat. First we put a writer's hat and we pretend that we are a writer. Then later on we will take this hat and put another one. And we will pretend that we are a good editor. So we will edit our text. And we will come the next day, reread it and edit it again. And edit the third time before we send it to the facilitator to read. So we will talk more about this tomorrow. History, philosophy, theology, travel, book reviews, children's literature, cookbooks, and self-help. Cookbooks. We have Divyambara Mataji from New York, my god sister. She's writing cookbooks very successfully. Book reviews. That's something interesting. We can take a book that someone of our spiritual masters wrote, and we can write a short review after reading this book. We can write how that book was. We can recommend it in that way to someone else and inspire the devotees to read the book. It was too quick. I thought I will need more time. But it's okay, we will try to discuss something else until the end. Conclusion. So let us try to make a conclusion in one word. If we would have to make a conclusion after this small presentation in one word or one short sentence, what would that be?
Start writing.
Start writing.
Just do it.
Just do it. Very good.
See yourself.
See yourself. Interesting. What do you mean by that?
What will be, as you told, like, go and start writing. And whatever is there inside us, whatever is there, that will
Come out.
Yeah. Then we'll get to know
Who we are.
who we are. It's there inside.
Yes. It is said that Shastra serves as a mirror. Have you heard about that ever? Shastra, Bhagavad Gita, Nectar of Instruction, Ishopanishad, Nectar of Devotion, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. They all serve as a mirror. How is that? What do you think?
You start to analyze yourself.
We start to analyze ourselves while we are reading. Any other idea?
After reading scriptures, we start understanding our qualities, our shortcomings, who we are, what we need to develop in our, where we are lacking in life.
We understand that we are pure devotees? No? Unfortunately. Mostly we understand, if we are honest and introspective, that actually Srila Prabhupada and my Guru Maharaj, they all have all these qualities, but I have none of these qualities. I'm not at all on their level. So that's something that we should understand. But that is not supposed to serve as a depressing, something that will depress us, that I really cannot do anything and I'm so bad, and no. It is not supposed to be like that. It is
Motivation also.
should be a motivating thing that, yeah, if I associate with them, if I listen more from them, if I serve them, then by their grace I might develop these qualities that I really need. I have so much anger or lust or greed, but they don't have. So I should go and try to serve them. So we spoke about this. Why? Because we said that the Shastra serves as a mirror, yeah? And Prabhuji was saying that we see ourselves, who we are. And that's okay, that's fine. We should learn to accept ourselves as we are.
Then only we can improve.
Then only, yeah, that's the starting point of improvement. And we have many defects, that's fine. We are not perfect. No one in this world is perfect. So that's okay. We should start from that point and aim to come closer and closer and closer to the perfection.
We have heard stories that Krishna is writing to inhabitants of Vrindavan, quite a bit of letters, but it's not so common knowledge that there was lots of letters going backwards to Krishna,
Okay.
even on a daily basis.
Mm.
So this is eternal activity which we have to kind of start developing also.
Yeah, thank you. If someone of you was hearing Indradyumna Swami and his Vrindavan pastimes that he was sharing, not his, but Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes, but he was talking about them, and you might have got to know that here in Vrindavan there is Vrindavan Research Institute, if I'm correct, with many books that are not yet revealed to all of us, Gaudiya Vaishnava books, many letters of our previous acharyas that they were writing, exchanging between themselves, and that they were even writing to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in those days, to write a letter and send it was not so easy. I mean, to write it, yes, but then somebody had to take the letter and bring it to another part of India. Nowadays, everything goes very instantly. This can be advantage, but it also can be a disadvantage sometimes. We can bombard the people with our thoughts, even if they don't want to, hear. So any other conclusion?
The best way how to understand Shastras
The best way how to understand Shastra
to write.
is to write. Okay, shall we proceed and find out? So this is our conclusion, is yes. And if you ever have to make a presentation, then think that your presentation has to make the audience conclude that yes, whatever we are presenting, if we are presenting a presentation to invite devotees to join VIG and study Bhakti Shastri, or we want to, for any other purpose, then our presentation should come to a conclusion. Yes, everybody should get encouraged that yes, what? you too can be a writer. And that's true. At first prerequisite we all have. We all know how to write. We all can get the pens, papers. So it's possible to be a writer. But this is now something else. Did anyone saw this so far? No? I didn't put the name. I will edit and put Prabhuji's name. This is from His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, the spiritual scientist. So he wrote a huge article talking about what writing means to him. What is writing for him? And I went through this material and tried to summarize it in just brief sentences for us to get encouraged and to get a bit brighter picture about writing, what writing is. So you see that W actually stays for worship. Words are the means by which devotee writers strive to worship Krishna. So in his case, the paraphernalia for worship is a pen and paper and a keyboard. So he is worshipping the Lord by writing for the Lord's pleasure. Then R stays for realization. That's what we mentioned already. Thinking deeply about the scriptural truths that we wish to realize. That's something different what we have heard and said. Yeah? What we have said, that we should write our realizations. So something that we have already realized. So we write about that. But here he is suggesting something else. Thinking deeply about the scriptural truths that we wish to realize. So that means that writing, first of all, thinking deeply about the subject matter, and then writing it helps us to realize it. It can serve us. So we might want to try this, to realize that we are not this body. I stands for introspection. Writing our feelings and their stimuli just as we would pour them out to a close devotee friend. So sometimes we are overwhelmed by some feelings. And we really have a need to express these feelings to someone. So we go to a friend, or we go to a sister, or we go to a husband or a wife. And then we talk. We express our feelings in that way. And we feel relieved. And in a discussion we might get even some clue what was the cause of these feelings. If there is some problem, we might get a clue what could be a solution, and so many different things can come out of a conversation with a good friend. So in the same way, if there is no one around us, we can take a piece of paper and write, express our feelings on the paper. This is something very powerful. And this is a technique also that that therapists actually give to the devotees or people who attend a therapy for self-healing, for example. Another thing that could be very, how to say, very healthy for our communities is if we have some negative feelings towards someone else, or there is some, you know, when the energy is just with some people is not good, and we might have come in conflict with them, or you know, these things happen in the communities when we live in the temple, when we come to VIG and spend 4 months, we come through so many different situations. So we might want to write a letter to a person with whom we have a conflict, unsolved situation, by whom we have been hurt, or we have hurt that person, and we want to express our regret or apology. So we can take a piece of paper and write all these things, because these things are here, they are in the heart. Yeah, often we think they are in the mind also. They are in the mind, and the mind and the heart, they are here. The mind is not here, the mind is here. So that's why we say they are inside, and we feel it's like pain, it's closing us up. So we might want to take a piece of paper and a pen and express all these things, addressing directly the person, saying, you have hurt me like this, you have did this, you have done to this, and I felt after that like this, and it was so painful, and I was crying the whole day, and I'm still feeling bad about it. But I don't want to feel like this. I would like that we have a good relationship, that we can cooperate in our services, that we can please other devotees together, that we can please our Srila Prabhupada, and so many things we can say and write in that way. But we don't have to send it. We don't have to send it. We can just keep it for ourselves, or we can just give it into the fire or in the dustbin, and that's okay, that's fine. But this introspection and throwing the things out will help us very much. We will feel relieved. And even it might happen that our relationship with that person suddenly is starting to change. We feel differently about that person. We think differently about that person, although she or he doesn't know anything. Still, it might be also a good idea to approach the person with the letter or without the letter and say, look, that's how I feel, and I'd like that we become friends again. It works. It really works. T stays for therapy. This form of writing assists our inner healing. This topic we touched now a bit. Inner healing is something very important for a devotee. We never or maybe once or twice heard of it or thought of it, but inner healing, honestly, I'm saying from my personal experience, it helps a lot in devotional practice. Why? Because we all carry things from past lives, and we all carry things from the childhood and from the teenage age and from the last year. We carry things within ourselves. It's like a backpack, invisible backpack. Yeah. And these things, they are slowing us down. So we have to start throwing out the things of the backpack. We have to look into our hearts and try to heal these things. So writing can serve as a therapy, definitely. But there are also educated devotees among us who provide therapy. I have attended 2 therapies so far, and I'm thinking to attend a few more. One was talking therapy. Simple. Just talking therapy. We made a group of 4 devotees. A senior devotee, His Grace Haridam Prabhu from London, and myself and two of my friends. And we said, let's have a talking therapy for next 4 months or 5 months. Once a week we meet and we just talk. But there was the guidance of Haridam Prabhu, who already attended himself talking therapy. So he was guiding us. So we started to talk about our childhood first. How we were born, where we were born, who is our family, what are our relationships with our mother, father, our siblings, our grandfathers and grandmothers, and so on. And then we were progressing like this. Each meeting we were talking about different things, going through our life. And it was really heart opening and revealing. We had to make a trustworthy environment. We said in the beginning that, okay, whatever is said here in this group stays in the group. It doesn't go out. So we had to trust others, and we had to be trustworthy. Yeah, whatever is said stays here. It's just among us and Krishna, who is within our heart. And it was good. It was very good. So like that, we were exploring what is inside of the heart, and we were finding many things, unsolved relationships with mother and father, with the siblings, and all these relationships, all these things that happened to us in the childhood molded us to be who we are now. There were good experiences, there were bad experiences. Bad experiences have strong impact on ourselves. So if we notice that there is a pattern in my behavior that is repeating all the time, and Krishna is showing to me, and other devotees are also showing to me, then I might think that, yeah, maybe that's something that I should consider to explore. And there is a wound within the heart, and then we need to heal this. And when we heal this, we come a step up. We step forward, or we step up on the stairs. It's very good. And it's also at the same time frightening. It's very frightening. I have one unsolved thing with my sister, and I'm so scared. I'm super scared. And I'm avoiding. But this unsolved thing has an impact in one relationship that is very important to me at the moment. And if I don't solve this, the relationship will not work. as it can work. So these are just few thoughts that I was sharing in the previous presentation with previous devotees who heard this previously, and I'm just sharing with you to kindle a spark, maybe, to put something in your shoes to think of. And writing serves as a therapy, as we said, and assists our inner healing. Diary, as Mataji said, journal, just daily interest, just a small note, small piece of paper, few sentences about this. It helps. And the last is E stays for explanation. Sharing our faith through written explanation. So we all have faith in something. We have faith in the Lord, in the Guru, in the name, in the Bhagavatam. So we can write and share our faith through that written explanation. Any questions?
Did you say that writing helps one to forgive others?
To forgive others? Yes, it does.
I have other questions.
Please.
Because previous slides you shared, Prabhupada said, don't write nonsense things for any nonsense man. And regarding what to write, I have my personal blog that I share something I read from Prabhupada's book. I translated into Korean language. Now I was translating verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, quotes and Bhagavad Gita. Then I wasn't affecting much audience, so I recently shifted to translating Spiritual Warrior by Bhakti Swami, which is more relevant. It still wasn't much attracting. And I was thinking maybe if I write something like travel information to India, it might attract audience. But at the same time, it's not really spiritual, just to attract straight, just means to attract people. So do you think it's good subject to which will help Krishna others, which will help enhance others' Krishna consciousness, or is just personal?
And who is your audience?
Um,
Devotees, or you are like publishing it for everyone, whoever comes across it?
It's a blog on internet, so it can be read by anyone. But in my mind, I'm thinking of my audience as yoga students.
Hmm.
I used to practice yoga, so I know I can relate their mind. So I'm thinking of them like right. But it can be like anyone because it's like open.
Yeah. So if you know who your audience is and who you want that your audience is, then there can be a way how to reach that audience. You can get in contact with yoga studios, with yoga people, yoga groups, and propose them, or get in contact. There is an email address. You can write an email to them. And that way you can connect with these people. There are many different ways. That's the first thing. Another is your topic, you are asking, is it relevant? Like writing informations about India, traveling in India. So you can make it relevant. You can make it Krishna conscious. If you are traveling, if you are going to Jaipur or to Delhi, you can visit there many different things, and you can write about these things. You can put a picture. But you can always think how to connect it with Krishna consciousness. how to present it in a way that between the lines I'm also giving them something about Vedic culture, Vedic scriptures, about Krishna himself, about Lord Chaitanya, about ISKCON movement. So it could be done. It's not that it's impossible to connect it and to share what you really wish to share, and that's spiritual content. So it is, and then it is up to you to find out, to find your own voice in writing, how you are actually talking to these people and what you are saying to them. You can also educate yourself in writing. There are many books. Tomorrow we will talk about one book, but there are different books on writing. People who are not devotees, they might be other spiritualists in other paths, or just we call them like non-devotees, karmis. They also write good books, and yeah, we can take help of such books as well. Krishna Kshetra Swami says that we are all adults. We know what should be done, what should be not be done, what should be read, what not should not be read. But yes, we can take help from articles on writing. Why not? Because we will use it in Krishna's service. We can read a book on writing and try to improve our writing skills. We can attend a seminar in English language, on English language, just to improve our English language so we can preach. Does that help? Okay. Dear from
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
One comment and one question. The comment is regarding writing habit. One thing I'm personally observed is when we come to VIHT as a part of any of the course trainings, we are asked to write our sadhana chart.
Oh.
So in the process of doing that, as you were sharing in the class, we get to know about ourselves more, how our sadhana is, where our time is going, what are the distractions. So that came to my mind when you were talking about that. So and the question is, this question is related to the traditional way of writing versus the modern way when we use cell phones also, when we store whatever our thoughts and so I heard in one lecture that actually it has been scientifically also verified that when we write the traditional way on some paper, it actually stays in our mind much more longer than typing it and storing it on the cell phone. That has been scientifically proven. And personally for me also, I tend to prefer writing on a piece of paper because when I go to cell phone, there are other distractions from the cell phone as well. So can you please share something related to this particular topic, the traditional way of writing versus the modern way, what are the limitations of the modern way of usage of cell phones?
Yeah, tomorrow we will touch this, but I think you gave us all. I don't have anything to add to that, what you have said. But yes, tomorrow we will hear and talk and discuss how to write. So there will be a bit more about this. So not tomorrow, excuse me. Friday. Yeah, on Friday. So we will talk more about that. But thank you. That's a very valuable comment. Yes, please.
Quite unusual commentary on modern writing. Just a few days ago, I saw quite unusual comment from Sri Ramaswamy. Then he found out that some devotees were writing Vyasa Puja letters to him using ChatGPT.
Oh.
If you know what it is, it means there's artificial intelligence engine which you can just ask, write down, please write me, half a page topic about, animals in Africa, and just artificial intelligence in the computers collects all information and just summarizes somehow, just trains up. So he said, whoever did it, this is between him and Krishna, but between me and him, doesn't exist. If you wrote it, I didn't read it. Doesn't mean anything. So personal things which are writing, going through you, is much more important than modern things and commentary on being distracted. Well, it also helps because if you have none of those things, maybe you crave and you think, oh, I need it. But if you have in the fingertips, you have a hand, so it's a moment of choice. Every moment you have to train yourself to be concentrated on the proper things and not be distracted from your. But of course, you can write also. While you're writing, also my wonders are the same thing. You have to be training yourself to concentrate.
Thank you. The question might be why devotees do these things? Why someone comes to an idea that let me use artificial intelligence to write an offering, Vyasa Puja offering to my Guru Maharaj? Because they think that they cannot write it themselves. That's why they take help of someone else. Can you write it for me? That's what we did in the school. Please, can you write this for me? And then someone, the homeworks. Then someone comes writing, and you put your name, and then let's see what happens. So this is a question to think of. Why?
This is something that when we have board of examination meetings, this topic has come up many times. Dishonesty in the assessment and giving the courses. This topic of dishonesty in writing the assessment for the courses is a great concern of the board of exam. That people do all sorts of things, like they copy on each other, and they go to internet, they search for essays which have been written previously, and then they just submit that. Or one time somebody gave like a lecture of Srila Prabhupada, they didn't even take the pain of editing it, and just gave it to the lecture of Srila Prabhupada. And then this new facility of chat, I'm not very up to date. I just came to hear about it a few days ago, and what nonsense. So this is diminishing the abilities of man. This is degrading. We are talking of writing as a means to elevate ourselves, to give depth to our thinking process. And if you get into these things, you degrade yourself instead of improving yourself. So I think in this seminar on writing, one part should be kept about honesty. Honesty in writing. What is our purpose? We said we want to please Krishna. We want to improve ourselves. We want to serve. We want to preach. But if we are not honest, then it is a waste. It should be a personal endeavor. It's a creation. It's like painting a picture. Where are you going to borrow from to paint a picture? You have to be the author. So this honesty has to be promoted. A couple of years ago, there was it happens once in a while, cheating was in exams. Cheating in exams. So the exam has given a penalty for that. There's a penalty and there's also a rectification. And part of the rectification is that the devotees have to write an essay on integrity. So there were about 5 devotees. They were sitting in a line in the class when they were taking exam, and somebody passed the notes. And they passed the note like this 5 in a row. They passed the note. And of course, when we corrected, we found out that they all wrote the same thing. So then we confronted them and found the cheats and all, and so like that. And we asked, okay, if you write essays on integrity. So out of 5 people, 4 submitted the essays on integrity, like at different speeds, like the next day, the next week. And there was one of them that please submit, wouldn't submit. And after weeks, finally he submitted the essay on integrity. We searched on the internet, he had downloaded it. So a person like this is a completely disqualified person for Bhakti Shastra degree, for even being a devotee. This is a cheating, ingrained inside. So I think in the matter of writing, and in all ways, if you don't like, that's why in the world there is also they call it copyright. No? Copyright is there because people have a tendency to just copy left and right and put their name on it. So writing is an art, and it is something which is meant to bring us closer to Krishna. So we shouldn't play with it and make it a dishonest activity. So I think this is important to understand that we are writing for our own self-purification, and we should be honest when writing.
And whatever we write is okay.
And whatever you write is okay.
It's okay, yeah,
It's better to write something simple, which is going to get, if you, in terms of assessment, is going to get a pass, than to copy some hi-fi thing from the internet, which is not yours. You get nothing. And in the eyes of Krishna, you have committed abominable action. It's not to be done.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you. For the end, we are already a bit over time. So, a suggestion by His Holiness Krishna Kshetra Swami. Start by writing an action plan. What you will do and how you will do it. Start reading Vaishnava literature. Include other literature that may be of practical help to enter into the spirit of reflective work by writing. And Srila Prabhupada says, chant Hare Krishna mantra day and night, read books and express the philosophy in your own words, and write articles for publishing. Thank you all very much. I hope this was interesting for you, and I hope that there are some thoughts on writing within your mind now, and that you will come on Friday, maybe encourage some of your colleagues, students to come as well, because it will be a practical session. Please bring a paper, a notebook, a pen, and we will try also to write something during the presentation. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Hare Krishna.